Adetokunbo Pearse. First of all, let me commend you in the media for the work you're doing in discussing current experiences in the country. And your concern, as is the concern of the Nigerian public. Thank God for social media, especially, that they cannot regulate easily. In every political dispensation, we evaluate the experience of the masses, of the people, the citizens in general, how the government affects their everyday life, economy, security, good governance. Those are the three parameters, really. And if we look at where we are today in Nigeria regarding the economy, we all know that cost of living has tripled, quadrupled. Unemployment has risen by about 30%. In some areas of the country, like in the north, for instance, unemployment is probably more like 50, 60%. Underemployment in the south is unbelievable, because underemployment means that you make a certain income, and that income is not even enough for you to eat. It's not enough for you to pay your rent. It's not for you to take care of yourself, let alone your family. I know citizens who live in Ikorodu and work in Apapa and don't go to work anymore. Perhaps the best they do is go to work 2 times, 3 times in a week. Some people sleep at work in order to save on transport expenses. That's the cost of living, what it has done to us. That's the economy. Corporations, private companies are folding up every day. They are leaving Nigeria, they are going to Ghana, going to other places, but they're not staying in Nigeria because cost of production is too high. Cost of electricity is too high for them if they power their equipment with electricity. Cost of diesel is too high if that is what powers their machines. Cost of petrol is too high. Cost of petrol that all of us, 80% of people have to use petrol, even if you're a corporation executive. The corporate executive, you go to work and everything you do is diesel, but you still have to go to work, you have to drive your car. And the petrol that was 450 was 185 naira per liter when Bola Tinubu took over in 2023, May 29. Is now 1,200 in some places. I don't think you can get it for anything less than 1,000 naira now. Look at the multiplication. And guess what? It is going at the rate of inflation. It is going at the rate of which the dollar is advancing on the naira, and the naira is dwindling. That's what's going on in our economy. So everybody is suffering, private or public. Everybody, except probably 1% of people who are in government. Because as we are suffering, the president is riding around in custom-made jets, 1 billion naira bulletproof car, and so on and so on, living like a prince of Arabia. So the disparity is incredible. But that's the economy. And then if you talk about security, every day people are kidnapped for ransom. People disappear. We don't know where they are. Sometimes they know where they are, they can't get there. And the funny thing is, the irony is that sometimes when the security forces find out where people are, they only go there to help the victims, to pay ransom. They can't catch them. They know where they are, but they go there, collect, pay the ransom, and escort the poor people back. And where are the kidnappers? Where are the criminals? Still free. This is the country we are in. This is the country we are in. Nobody is safe. If you are going to Ibadan from here, from Lagos, a 2-hour drive, People will be praying for you to get there alive and come back alive. That's Nigeria. Traditional rulers are kidnapped. They disappear in broad daylight. This is not only southwest and southeast now, not the south alone. All over the country. In some states in Nigeria, the citizens are so defenseless. They pay tax. They pay tributary to gangsters, to terrorists. The government cannot even collect tax from them. I mean, we are in a terrible situation. But, we have a president who thinks he's a master of the media. He goes around with 6 or 7 media aides to twist the truth, to manipulate information so that we won't know what is really happening. But we know we are suffering, we are experiencing it every day. The protests will go down in history as the right thing to do. People, the PDP or the opposition parties did not organize the protests. They were basically organized by private individuals, private organizations who felt that we need to let the government know that we are very unhappy, we are very uncomfortable, that we are suffering, we are hungry, that we are afraid for our lives and property, that we are not happy with living in Nigeria. That if we have an opportunity, we will all leave this country. It's that bad. But the protests have been met with resistance from a very reactionary government. And the irony is that the president now was the leader of the opposition and leading protests against government when he was in opposition. Now he gets there, he knows what to do to suppress. There are hundreds of protesters from the days of just a few months ago, August precisely, the end bad governance protesters that are still in jail. Some were killed. Only international media is exposing these figures. And I pray that you are able to do the facts, to fact find and expose whatever it is, just let the truth be out there. But the one that we caught them on was minors that were arrested and were detained for days. And it was only when they got to court that we knew that children have been arrested and kept in jail. This is the kind of government we are in. This is the government we are in. Here is a president who himself is a fraudster, is on record that he is a drug baron. The vice president is a sympathizer of Boko Haram. The Senate president is wanted by his own EFCC for committing economic crimes. This is where we are. And, don't blame the people for voting Tinubu in, because we never voted for him. That is one of the things that Ifaro to me always said, that don't say we voted for him. We didn't vote for him. INEC made him president. Whatever he did with INEC, he bought INEC. We all know that he's been financing INEC for decades. So here is payback time. And they gave it to him as he wanted it. He declared it. Don't forget, 31%, only 31% of the votes counted came in by the time he was announced president. So that's an abnormality there. Obvious one. We don't know why that will happen. Till today, INEC has not explained. So therefore, by any calculation, he didn't even win the election. But it's very reactionary, very oppressive, very insensitive administration. So protest or no protest, but we'll continue to protest. We'll continue to talk. I believe I told you earlier, yesterday I was on a national TV. And because I was saying things that I'm saying now about the administration, about the government, about what we're experiencing as citizens, they cut me off in the middle of an interview. That is how insensitive these people are. Farotimi's case linked to what he has been saying about the government, protesting against the government, that is now arrested and put in shackles, in handcuffs for defamation of character. You know why I'm not so worried about this? Number one, it will make the man very popular. His issues, attacking, exposing the corruption in the judiciary, will be well known to everybody all over the world. And guess what? After this is all over, the government will have to, whoever took him today will have to pay him compensation. So all will be well. Well, you know, what you are doing, both the Nigerian media is doing a great job. In spite of the oppression, the suppression, the attempt to suppress facts and fact figures, Nigerian media is still exposing. International media is talking. For instance, the Times of London, March 13, 2024, published an article where they said the way insecurity is going, at the rate at which it's going, Nigeria is moving toward the level of a failed state. Okay? So everybody is saying it. What is most important is this. You see, Bola Tinubu knows the game very well. He knows that dead men don't bite. You know? So if you protest too much, he will clamp down on you, he will do everything he can, they will steal elections, they will embezzle money, they will spend money the way they want. They don't care, so long as they win election. So we can say all we want to say now. It doesn't matter to him. It doesn't matter to him. So long as when election time comes, he will win the election by hook or by crook. And don't forget, what he is doing now is one, is making sure that all the institutions toward the election are under his control. He has bought INEC, and the system allows him to do it because so long as the president of the country is the one appointing the INEC chairman, then we don't really have an independent INEC, do we? You know, I always give the example of the United States of America. Was it in 2016? If Donald Trump had been the one, when he was president, if he had been the one that appointed the INEC chairman there, when he said he wanted just a few more votes so that they can say he won the election, he would have got to there. Just order the man, give me those numbers, that's it. We need to change the electoral system so that the president does not appoint the INEC chairman and the INEC commissioners. So long as we have a situation where we have now, because we are complaining about Yakubu. If Yakubu goes, the president will appoint somebody else who may be even maybe worse than Yakubu. A yes man, you can be sure about that. So he's got INEC in his pocket. He's got his judiciary in his pocket. We have seen the corruptness of the judiciary. It's unbelievable. We have seen how the judiciary gave APC the election in Ondo. And the national chairman of INEC, Ganduje, is boasting that that's the template they're going to use to capture everywhere. So INEC and the election is gone. The judiciary is gone. You take your case to appeal, you're wasting your time. Tinubu has done this, he has perfected it when he was in Lagos. Everything he's doing now at the national level, he did in Lagos. Then, the police, the current IG is his personal friend, personal ally, personal boy. He reports to him. The man was due to retire this year. Last month, I believe. He extended his stay so that the man will cover him for the 2027 election. So you can see that Bola Tinubu is the personification, the very embodiment of corruption in Nigeria. And so if everything is in order, however, no matter what he does, no matter the level of oppression and suppression and corruption and control that anybody thinks they have, we have seen it all in history, not only in Nigeria, all over the world from time immemorial. The end will come when it will come. And the end for Tinubu is here already. I tell you why. He did not win the election. He got 12 states. Obi got 12 states. Atiku got 12 states. That shows you how vulnerable he is. 31% of the vote only came in when they said he won. So it's obvious. Next election, how is he going to win? When the North that gave him most of the votes, over 60% of the votes that helped him to win, and the states that helped him to win came from the North. The North is now saying that they are not supporting him anymore. And the reason they are not supporting him anymore is the aspect of governance, where you have to be a real patriot, a real leader. If you are the president of Nigeria, you are the president of the whole of Nigeria. What he has done to the North, to exclude them from everything, is expose him as the president of not even Lagos State, but only Tinubu Friendship Society in Lagos State. That's the president of whom he is. And that's what the Northerners are saying. Every video coming out of the North, the leaders are saying, you are the president, you are not even representing Southwest. They're saying it from the North. And you know, he didn't get a single vote in the Southeast. Now he's trying to bribe the leaders of Southeast, but I tell you what, he's not going to succeed because the people differ from the leaders. In the Southeast, one of the most corrupt regions in Nigeria is the Southeast. If they had their way in the Southeast, RPOB Kanu could be president, would be the governor of any state in Southeast because of the people's support. Southeast has been marginalized since the Civil War. And the leaders have been in cahoots with the presidency to keep on marginalizing their people so long as they get rich. So now, Tinubu does not have any support. He can't win any election in Southeast. He can only win maybe 50% of Southwest. You know, he lost in Lagos the last time. He will lose in Lagos again, and he will lose in the whole of Southwest again because nobody likes him. His performance has exposed him to be a monumental failure. The Northerners have been marginalized more than anybody else in this administration. I don't know what problem he has. He has another thing that the Northerners have exposed, which I read recently. They said which I should have noticed. They said, you are the president. We gave you Shetima as the vice president. That's why we gave you the votes. So that when you are not around, the Shetima will be acting as president. But now, when you go abroad, you carry the presidency in your briefcase. And you leave Shetima out. He has nothing to do, nothing to say. So we are not voting for you anymore. So I think it is obvious that he will not get the Northern support. And if he doesn't get it, mark my word, you remember he got 31% of the vote. Not only 31% of the vote came in. And he got 48% of those votes. So that is the vote he got really is about 20% nationwide. The reality this time, if the North does not support him, he will get 7%. No. Listen, mark my word. The calculation is clear. Now, with 7%, and an INEC chairman that will be under pressure like never before, and the media that is also not supportive of him at all, and the whole of Nigeria hungry and angry and determined to get rid of this guy, 2027, this is Waterloo. Can't make it past 2027 because, unfortunately, he should not even make it up to 2027. I've been campaigning since January of this year that this man must be impeached. I was on Arise TV and I said it. They said, why? I said, the man is senile. The man has wickedness and corruption in his blood. He will not change. And therefore, we are in trouble. We are in for the worst ride of our lives in Nigeria. I mean, we've never had it so bad. And therefore, the National Assembly should impeach him. But they told me on the TV that National Assembly is in his pocket. I say, good. But we cannot stop talking. And we will continue to put pressure on the National Assembly that they must do the right thing. That's all. They must do the right thing. No matter how much money he gives them there, they should still do the right thing by the people who elected them into office. But if they don't do it, we the people will get rid of them and the presidency. This APC government must go. We've had enough. 8 years of Buhari, we were at the edge of falling into the ditch. No, this is where we were, 5 inches from the ditch. Tinubu has brought up 1 inch now. So are we going to wait till we fall into the ditch totally? National, international companies will never come in to go and participate in an economy that will bankrupt them. The reason they are not here in Nigeria now is that the economic atmosphere, the political atmosphere, the security situation does not favor investment. So they will not come to invest. Don't blame them. The only people we can talk to are the governments of those foreign countries. And the governments take note of what is going on in the country, the abuse, human rights abuses, cultural abuses, political abuses, corruption in the judiciary, and therefore just penalize these people, hold them responsible. Any judge that is prejudged to be corrupt should be denied a visa and exposed. Foreign countries, the president of Nigeria is a double agent. The president of Nigeria is an asset to CIA. It was published recently. You could not deny it. And you know why you cannot deny it? This is how the CIA, the American government, works. If you've been under interrogation and you have been found guilty by the CIA, by the corrupt practices, drug peddling, money laundering, as Tinubu has been found, I'm not saying it because I don't like him, because he's underperforming, but because it's a fact, it's on record. That's why he paid $474,000 fine. Once you have paid that fine, that is what do you call it now? Plea bargain. Once you plea bargain, part of your terms will be, I lived in America for 25 years and worked in the system at a very high level. I know how the system works. I myself have faced the FBI 2 or 3 times. I've faced CIA 2 or 3 times. But because I was innocent, the CIA director escorted me to the elevator and warned me that I should not be seen with some people like this. You understand me? It's simple as that. I was a teacher in the university. I was a lecturer in the university. People used my name, and because I wanted things to go for the community, I worked with them. But when they were caught, nobody put me in there. So what the international should do is to hold this president accountable. This president should not be supported. He is a liability to America. He's a liability to us. America cannot impose him on us. We don't want him. The reason why America and some other countries accepted the result of our election was because of him. Because they saw him as an asset that they could use. They now want to use him to suppress Niger. When Niger said they were kicking out their president, they didn't want him in the ministry. Now America is saying, France is saying it's a democratically elected. If it's democracy and it's corrupt, then we get rid of him. We have come round now. We are not afraid of military regime anymore. We were under it for 30-something years. Nigeria didn't collapse. Nigeria didn't do as badly as it's doing now. We are not as poor as we are now. We are not as insecure as we are now. There's no military government that did not balance its appointments, federal appointments. Buhari came and gave all appointments to the north. This one came, Tinubu came and wants to give all appointments to the south, for his friends even, worse than Buhari. Buhari appointed some people he didn't even know, so long as they were from the north, okay? Tinubu doesn't appoint anybody he doesn't know who cannot work for him. He only wants puppets. So, this is worse. America, France, Britain, if you don't want us, Nigerians, to protest against you and regard you as an enemy of our country, reject an enemy of our country who is the president of our country today. You imposed him on us. We don't want him anymore. If he runs the next election and loses, make sure the results are upheld. That's what we need from these foreign governments. And I'm telling you now, for their own good, what does it pay America or France or England to have a president who has reduced the economy of Nigeria to shambles? What can we buy from you? How can we help you? What does Tinubu want to do? He wants to bring France to come and explore our natural resources in the north? No. It's not going to happen. You understand that? We are not going to be colonized again. So if you have a colonizing president you want to impose on us, you better forget about it. It's not going to have. The world is changing now. The world is changing. You know that. Everybody has an opportunity to go to BRICS. If you don't want to go to United Nations, you go to BRICS. We have an opportunity. If you want to be our friend, if you want our business, if you want our cooperation, you have to do right by us, not to impose a fraudulent presidency on us. Let us uphold the governments of the developed world should uphold democracy and insist. Look, why would you not see the situation in Nigeria? Why would any developed country condone this not just the corruption, but the oppression of human rights like never before? That's what they should speak to.
Now, talking about still on this foreign partnership, what exactly are your perception of a joint military exercise in combating insecurity, especially with other countries? So what's your perception about a joint military exercise?
We've had joint military exercises in Niger, in Mali, Burkina Faso. It doesn't work. It's an excuse to infiltrate the country. Nigeria's army is a big army. We have a very strong navy. We have air force. We have a strong police. We need to develop our own systems. You know, we're at a level now. You see, Tinubu is of the old school. He has a colonial mentality. He believes in the strength and the power of the colonialists. Of course, he's been a beneficiary because he knows he should be in jail in America now. And they have let him loose. So he's grateful to them. And that's what he's trying to do, to appease them. We do not want to be colonized again by bringing in foreign troops. What are they coming to do? Did they not try to, since 2015, they've been trying to suppress Boko Haram. Has America won any war since the Second World War? You can't win any war from outside. Look at what they did to them in Iraq. Did they not have to run out of Afghanistan with their tail behind their back? You cannot win any war in the world anymore from the outside, from outside intervention. What happened in Syria yesterday, 2 days ago? The people of Syria said they don't want a Assad government anymore. The people. And they fought for almost 15 years. Now, they kicked them out. Russia was helping Assad. But Russia now has its own problems. Russia, look at all this time. Russia can't even suppress ordinary Ukraine. Look, nobody can help you but yourselves. If you invite foreigners to come into your country, you are going to be colonized again. Let me tell you, Bola Tinubu is looking for trouble. Luckily for us in Nigeria, luckily, the northerners are the ones that are most affected. And I'm telling you, they will butcher all of them there in the north. Tinubu better be careful. You better be careful. Because now he has offended them in the north, they will show him. If you fight against Niger, you are fighting against the north. Many people in our army are from Niger. Many of our citizens, because of the colonial division of countries, you don't know who is Nigerian, who is Nigerian. The whole of the north, about 7 states in the north, have a border with Niger. What can you do? You know what Tinubu is trying to do? He's trying to fight the north. The man is trying to separate the north from Nigeria because the north, they are the ones, if you're bringing the French now, that means you are using the French to fight Niger. If you are fighting Niger, you are fighting Nigeria. You see what Tinubu is doing? Luckily, the northerners are up to it. I've seen many postings from there. We are not going to stand for it. It's our own job in the south now to support these northerners, to show that we are not with Tinubu on this. He's on his own. And we will not support him to oppress us, to colonize us again. You see, you cannot win a war. Just as I said, you cannot win a war by bringing outside forces. I said this as early as 2015. You cannot end insecurity in the north by bringing Nigerian army. The insecurity in the north is an internal problem. Every member of Boko Haram is a member of a local family like my own here in the north. If you want to end insecurity in the north, you see, the problem is we are dealing with the north as if we are a foreign country dealing with another foreign country. Which Nigerian soldier is going to go and do anything in the north? In the first place, the internal problem in the north is not an army or navy issue. It's a police issue. So it is our police force that has to gather intelligence. And the intelligence can only come from the locals because it is their problem. There is no member of Boko Haram that is not known to everybody on the street in the north. Until you go there, and now not only are you bringing Nigerian army that has failed all this, and you want to bring other foreign army that is even more distant from the people. It's a waste of time. So the way to go about that is to strengthen the internal security of the state. That's why we talked about restructuring the system. Part of what we say about restructuring is restructuring the security system. Local police. You hear me? Local police. In America, at least the system that is very close to our own in terms of so many states, so many different areas, so many different cultures. It is only the local police. The police force, people by the locals of that place that can police their area. And until you give them local police, you are not going to achieve anything. Do you know that if they had local police in Bauchi, Borno, all these, who will be members of the police? Is it not these young men that are in Boko Haram? Huh? Now they have a regular job. They can go to their family and say, look, Mama, here's your paycheck. This is your money. I am sure I'm getting 100,000 next month. I'm employed. That is how you solve the problem. Let me tell you something. You know, we've always had this type of preference. We like this, we don't like that. Before I talk about the three of them, the first thing we must do is we must get ourselves together. And the only way we can improve this country is by restructuring this country. Devolution of power to the states. I assure you today, if the economy of Nigeria is devolved to the states, instead of the resources being held by the federal government in an exclusive list, and is made open to the states, so that the states that produce lithium, where lithium exists in abundance, the states that have bauxite, the states that have gas, the states that have oil, the states that have bitumen are allowed to use their resources to develop their economy. Now we are going to have a developed country. Our country will be buoyant. We have all these resources. So when that exists, then these states will invite any country they feel will work with them. You understand me? I guarantee you within 5 years, Aba will be as developed as Dubai economically. The resources are there. They have oil. Enugu has the ninth largest deposit of gas in the world. Ondo Axis has the third largest deposit of bitumen in the world. We have uranium. You know the uranium they're talking about in Niger? Many of the uranium deposits are in the north of Nigeria. But we are not using it. We are not using it because the military intervention in Nigerian politics held us back. You know, military was supposed to be just temporary. Their own is just to maintain status quo. Now that they have left since 1999, we are supposed to go back to democracy, which is like we had before the coup, regional autonomy, so that we can use our resources in our region. Can you imagine what will happen in Southeast with Aba, with the oil resources in Aba, which, by the way, federal government will suppress? If you produce the oil, they take all of it to the north. They distribute it all over the country. And they don't let the north use its own resources. So nobody is happy. Nobody is really benefiting because we are not using our potential. So once we do that, then we can say for our bauxite, we will invite so and so. For our lithium, we will invite the country where we know they have the greatest technology for that. You understand me? And, you know, we are not talking about countries. We are talking about corporations in those countries. Me, I don't like this idea of inviting countries, you know, but of the three of them, the only one now that is manageable as it is now, as our country is before we do devolution. But I hope you get my point.
Very well, very well.
We must devolve power and allow these states to use their resources to develop the country, to develop the area, and which will now be beneficial to the whole country. Security, economy, everything. You know, then we can talk about these foreign countries. China is the only country that has never colonized us. China does not believe in coming into a country to involve themselves in the politics. They don't speak the language, they don't care. They just want to make money, and you reach an agreement with them on how to develop your resources for you, and you share the profits. So you write your own agreement. As it is now, no state can develop fully. You know, I know some states now, your state is developing power, Aba state, I think it's Abia state that is also developing power structures and so on. that can only be done to a limited extent without federal governments uh, uh, giving you guarantee as a state. And of course, federal government will not give you guarantee if they don't like your policy, if they don't like your politics. So a PDP government now trying to do things will be oppressed. Any states in Southeast trying to get out, they will say, they want to get out of their oppression, suppress it. They didn't vote for me, right? So until you give them the autonomy, then we can talk about this. But of all the countries in the world today, developed countries, it is China that does not involve itself, interfere in the politics. You see, before you can relate to anybody, you yourself must be standing on your feet. Our problem is that we are not strong enough to deal with these people, because you see, there's no country in the world, especially developed countries, they always go after their own interest. Can you blame them for that? No. Therefore, it is when they come with their interest and they meet your own interest, and their interest allows them, your own interest allows them to exploit you because you want something from them. That is where we fail. If you have a president who is ready, an administration that's ready to say, France, come into the country, just give me 20 billion, or give me loans and give me this and take whatever you want. It's not good for Nigeria. Look at what America did in 2015. I'm not talking about the economy now. The economy, you have to put your foot down and say, this is what we want, and leave it to the states to develop to use what they want. I think that the Southeast, by the way they've been doing business, they will feature very well with China. They've been doing it for a long time. I mean, China comes now and operates there, they've been operating, you will see a boom. It will be mutual development, you understand me? But as it is now with the federal government will interfere. They will not let them do what they should do. They will mess up the agreement. The contract will be squared. China will just take advantage and go. You see? But in 2015, the Obama government misled that Jonathan was a bad president. It was bad for Nigeria. It was not concerned about the Chibok girls. Obama and his wife began to promote set our girls free. The Chibok girls must be free. And they now work with Buhari and this Tinubu to get rid of Jonathan. Huh? You see what I mean? So, guess what? It is you that will give the foreign government what you want, and you get as much as you give. If they find that they can easily exploit you, of course they will. If it's anything in their interest, what they will do. And you yourself, every government, like Nigeria, we should be looking after our own interest. You understand me? So, Russia has never interfered in our politics. China does not historically involve itself in politics of other countries. So, to some extent, but I tell you what, under the circumstances, China, Russia, as good as they may be, if they come into this country and they have a corrupt president that can be corrupted easily, they will corrupt him and get what they want. We will not benefit from it. Look, the problem with this country is not that we don't have good laws. We have very good laws, but how do we enforce the law? We don't do enough. If you have an administration World Bank, IMF, they're giving us 200 billion for environmental, to clear the environment, make the environment better. And when the money comes, the president takes 20% of it, puts in his pocket. Then the commissioner takes 5%, puts in his pocket. Then China is looking at all of this and says, so how are we going to function with these people? So China will do some shoddy job and then go. You understand me? That's what's going on in Nigeria. Why can't we? Look, I think it was 2002. I was in the US and China, it was not Russia, it was China that wanted to infiltrate the American election. At the end of it, the American lawmakers came together, whether they were Democrats or Republicans, and stood their ground and shut them out. If they had influence, because it was the vice president vying for president at the time, Al Gore. I remember Al Gore had this special relationship, and once the country saw that, the lawmakers, they shut it down. If we do the same in Nigeria, we won't have a problem. That is why, for me, it is very important for us to have good governance. It is very important for us to have the right people in place. You have to be honest. You cannot be looking after money, enriching yourself, and hope to have foreign partners to do right by you. You know, if you abuse your wife and your friends see that you have no respect for your wife, and that particular friend is also, is interested only in himself, they will treat your wife anyhow. They will insult her because they can see that you are not going to do anything about it. So this is what happens to us. I don't blame foreign government. By the way, let me tell you this. When IMF said remove subsidy, I read the reports in detail. IMF did not say remove subsidy. IMF said for you to improve your economy, there are certain things you must do. One, remove subsidy. Simultaneously, fight corruption in the oil industry. Thirdly, improve your economy, diversify your economy away from oil. Don't depend only on oil. If you do these things, the economy will improve. What did Tinubu do? Remove subsidy. Corrupt the oil industry even more. Does nothing to diversify the economy. So out of three things, you do one. And you think you will succeed? No. Don't blame IMF. IMF has come recently to say we did not tell them to remove subsidy. That is because IMF did not say remove subsidy by itself. Obasanjo made a statement about this issue. He said when he was president, whatever they tell him to do, IMF, look at it, the one that he feels to do, he do, the ones that doesn't. So IMF does not dictate to you as a country. They only give you advice. And if you are dumb and you cannot understand what you need to do to improve the economy, then you have a problem. That is not IMF's problem. That is the way it is. Well, first let's talk about what the government should do, the solution to the problem. I don't like to talk only about the problem, the solution to the problem. One, oil subsidy. As it is now, if you reduce the wastage in the oil industry, the theft in the oil industry, these figures are frightening, right? Some people say 80% of our oil is stolen. The corruption in the oil industry. That is to say, the president himself should get out of being president of chairman of minister for petroleum You don't know anything about the industry. Buhari did it. They all do it. I mean, no experience. Buhari's one was even worse. He was a chairman of some oil company, not oil company, the oil industry at one point. What happened? Loss upon loss, corruption upon corruption. Now he comes in as president and wants to be president, minister for petroleum. That's why we had a failure in the industry. Theft. So if you do all those things in the oil industry, we'll produce more. And we will make more. That is one. That will improve the economy. Two, you will diversify the economy so that if we are making 1 trillion from oil, we now make another 1 trillion from lithium, another 500 billion from natural gas, and so on and so forth. Exactly. Improve the agriculture. You will see that modernize the agriculture. You will see that the economy will grow. When the economy is so strong, and the oil industry has been cleared of all these shortcomings, the price of oil will now come down because it will be now competitive. You understand me? It will be competitive. And when the naira is strong, the naira can buy oil and produce oil at a cheaper rate. The price will come down. Price of all commodities will come down accordingly. So these are the things you have to do to improve the economy. Then, and quality of life. Then, as far as the devaluation of the naira, you have to reverse it. You see, you cannot pronounce the value of your currency. It is not by government fiat that you determine the value of the currency. It is by the strength of the economy. You see what you know why oil is cheap in America? Because the economy is strong. By the way, why is it that you know how capitalism works? Democratic capitalism. America is owing trillions of naira, of dollars. Trillions. But they're still borrowing. They're still making more money. You know why? Somebody said that they just print. They don't print. This is what happens. In a capitalist economy, you can only borrow as much as you can pay back with your money. You understand me? If you keep borrowing and you are using money you borrow to pay the money you borrowed, you just keep going deeper and deeper into debt. So when you improve your economy, when you are able to develop your agricultural sector, and you are able to export mango, export guava, export maize, export so many things to the world, can you imagine how your economy will become strong?
Which we have in abundance.
We have all of these things. Both minerals, agriculture, we have everything. We even have human capacity, which they always suppress. People like me, when we were in America, we were running for this, for that, around for House, for Congress. The Nigerians who are doing wonders all over the world. They dare not come here. If they come here, they will tell them to go and arrest them. They're talking too much. They're asking for too much. So, improve your economy and your naira will be strong. Now, the third one, that the policy that this man has put in place that has destroyed the economy and creating problems for all of us in every way. Even the situation in the economy is tied to insecurity. You know? Now, you see, you increase taxes. That's the third one they did. You know, remove all subsidy, devalue the naira, increase taxes. I have a video from an American senator who said the problem with African countries is high taxes. To solve the problem, reduce the taxes, because if you don't reduce tax, he gave an example. Nike wants to establish factories in African countries. We would have been producing Nike in Badagry now. But why did Nike not come? Cost of electricity, too high. Cost of petrol, too high. Cost of diesel, too high. Cost of transportation, too high. Cost of production overall, too high. Taxes, too high. Therefore, they will not come. You see the effect? So you reduce taxes instead of increase them. Those are the three things that must do to solve the problem. What will Nigerians do? Nigerians should support any presidential candidate who comes with this package to improve our situation. And only the PDP can bring such a package. And the way things are looking, once the PDP, because look, people say opposition parties, what way are they? Let's not deceive ourselves. Labour would have been another opposition party, but Labour has fizzled away since the last election, the presidential election. So, as it is now, foreign countries should just let us do our business. We should take care of ourselves. We don't want people to come and recolonize us. But Nigerians must hold their elected officials accountable. Southerners must face the fact. The Yoruba people must face the fact that Tinubu is an embarrassment, is a disgrace to Yoruba land, and we should get rid of him. And everybody in the north should realize that what they're doing now, criticizing this guy, is right. They should stand their ground, make sure he doesn't win any election if they don't vote for him. And Nigerians should make sure that the vote counts. We must hold our neck accountable. Whether he's the president is the one that appoints the next chairman, or they keep this corrupt Yakubu, it's okay. But we will not allow Yakubu to make an illegal announcement of the election this time round. That's what Nigerians must do. We must keep up the pressure.